I was expecting an Adventure Island clone, but it's actually a clone of Fantasy Zone. Why is it called Adventurous Boy? The game does look nice graphically, but the controls are terrible. There's some weird scrolling glitch where your character moves very slow when the screen is moving. One thing I do like though is that when you die, you start right where you left off. This would be an alright game, but the controls really ruin it for me. I'm not sure why they even bothered making this game when the Genesis got Super Fantasy Zone, which is a far better game. Let's try Super Tank War. You play as a tank and you must defeat all the enemy tanks to beat the level. You also must defend the statue at the bottom of the screen. There's items you can collect that help you out along the way. The developers successfully copied Battle City on the Famicom. Unfortunately, they did not bring over the best feature of that game. You cannot create your own levels in Super Tank War. It's an alright game, but Battle City is better. I can understand why they brought this game over because it was previously a Famicom game and there was never a Genesis version, but a game like this is a bit too simplistic for an advanced console like this. Here's Lion King 2. Interesting that both young and adult Simba are on the title screen. I guess it could be two different lions. It's obviously very similar to the official Lion King game from Virgin. Simba can actually swat at enemies unlike the original game. If you collect one of the stars, you become adult Simba, but if you get hit, you transform back into young Simba. That definitely didn't happen in the movie. The game has similar climbing mechanics as the original game, where you can move upwards to reach a higher platform. The levels are completely different though, and certainly don't look like any Lion King movie I've ever seen. Have you ever seen a lion roaming around China? The game is extremely glitchy. A few times I fell through the wall and landed somewhere I didn't want to be. In one playthrough, I fell through the floor and ended up at the beginning of the level, so basically I had to start over. That's not fair. Some platforms will just magically appear somehow. Did you see that? The sound effects they went with are really strange. Overall, this is a very sloppy game. There's also Lion King 3. It's unknown whether GameTech was involved with this one. There's a few improvements. Now you can select whether you want to play as young or adult Simba rather than just magically transforming. The graphics are also brighter and more colorful. Most of the enemies are sprites that were stolen from Donkey Kong Country and other games. The programming seems to be better too because I didn't fall through any walls during my entire playthrough. The music is also very good, with one song being very similar to another bootleg Lion King game we talked about several videos back. The game even has stage bosses, which is more than what the last game can say. The game still doesn't seem to follow the movie at all, at least not any Lion King movie I've ever seen. I don't remember this bear being in the movie. I didn't even know they were in the same geographical location. The climbing controls are worse than the last game. It's near impossible to swing off platforms and it requires many tries. In one part of the game, you have to successfully time multiple of these swings in a row. Sometimes foreground graphics blend in with the backgrounds like in this auto-scroller. It makes it very difficult to see what you're able to land on. I dislike both games, but I do think Lion King 3 is slightly better. It's interesting they made these games considering it's on the same console as the official version. In both cases, they did give us something much different. Here's Squirrel King. Supposedly this is an actual copy of the game, but this might be a reproduction. I bought this off eBay several years back. You play as either Chip or Dale, neither of which are squirrels, and you just have to walk to the right to beat the stage. You pick up boxes and throw them at enemies. You can also throw fireballs, but only temporarily. These are your only ways of attacking, so it's best to save the fireballs for when you absolutely need them. I personally like to save them for the boss and then just fire at them one at a time. The game has both horizontal and vertical scrolling segments. The game is loosely based off the Chip and Dale NES game. In those games, you can also pick up and throw objects. Even though it's inspired by that game, there's a lot of originality here. The graphics are bright and colorful and don't appear to be stolen from another game. The music is also excellent. Some tracks are clearly ripped from other games though. The game is also surprisingly fun. I actually enjoyed playing through this one. But you can still tell this is a bootleg. Moving platforms tend to be very glitchy in this game. When you're on one, you're completely locked in place while the screen is moving. In the vertical segments, the screen doesn't scroll up when you're on a moving platform, which is a huge oversight on the developer's part. For unlicensed game standards though, this is a surprisingly good game. It was very smart that GameTech brought this game over. Not only did Chip and Dale never receive a Genesis game, but Capcom didn't have much of a presence on the console in general. There's another bootleg that's a ROM hack of Squirrel King called Super Mario World. We do get a new title screen, and the first two worlds have been changed to Mario-themed ones. The graphics were obviously modeled after Super Mario All-Stars, but otherwise the gameplay and mechanics are the same. It's a little unusual seeing Mario pick up and throw boxes rather than running around and hitting coin blocks. The first two bosses were replaced with Bowser, both of which are exactly the same. Once you complete the first two worlds, the rest of the stages are the same as Squirrel King. For whatever reason, the publishers decided to troll the customer by showing the second stage of Squirrel King on the box, which is not in the Mario version. Good job, guys. I prefer the original game, but this version is more well known. It's unknown whether GameTech was behind this hack or not. Speaking of Super Mario World, there's a port of the Super Nintendo game called Super Mario World 64. This is another game that's not confirmed to be made by GameTech. On the NES, the company Hummer Team made their own version of Super Mario World and it was ambitious. A decent amount of levels were included and there was an overworld map. Nearly every feature from the original was implemented in the NES game. That is not at all the case with the Genesis one. The graphics are the same, but that's the only thing they got right. There's only 6 levels, which is a huge departure from the Super Nintendo 72 or even the NES version's 27. Mario has very poor acceleration, which means it takes him a while to get a running start. There's points in the game where you can't see ahead and you have no choice but to make a leap of faith. A bunch of aspects have not been implemented. The Koopas don't drop their shells when you defeat them. There's mushroom blocks, but they never become fire flowers, although there are cape upgrades. There's no Yoshi in this game whatsoever. Overall, this is a very lousy bootleg. Considering how ambitious the NES bootleg was, I thought that Genesis would get something better than this garbage. There's also Super Donkey Kong 99. This is actually a pretty interesting one. If you ever wanted to know if the Donkey Kong Country games would be possible on the Genesis, we can now confirm that it's not. This is a very sloppy version of the game. Donkey Kong is the only playable character and you die in one hit. There's no dash attack, so you can only destroy enemies by jumping on them. Listen to the music. Does this sound like Donkey Kong Country? A few times during my playthrough, the game randomly crashed. Yeah, that's great. Because you have less ways to kill enemies and you die in one hit, this is a very annoying and frustrating game to play. I do not recommend. I just wanted to give you a breakdown of some of the bootleg games on the Genesis. Most of GameTech's titles are the typical low-quality bootlegs that we commonly see, but there's a couple alright ones out there like Squirrel King. Despite using a lot of assets and stealing the core concept of games, a lot of GameTech's titles went in the different directions, except for the last two I covered. Lion King 2 had completely different stages and a few unique gameplay changes. Squirrel King had some original graphics and music and was only loosely based off the NES game. With some small changes, this could have passed as an original game. A lot of bootlegs will copy the original game verbatim, but GameTech was creative. Hey, I just wanted to thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, hit that like button. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the subscribe button for more content. Both of these things really help the channel grow. If you have anything to share, feel free to leave a comment. I read every single comment on this channel, and I'm pretty good at replying back. Anyway, have a good one.
There's a lot of goofy things that are illegal. In Alabama, it's illegal to have an ice cream cone in your back pocket. In Georgia, all citizens must own a rake. And in some random town in Tennessee, it is illegal for a woman to call a man for a date. What's going on down there in the South? You guys good? Is it all that extra sugar you're putting in your Kool-Aid? Nah, I'm just playing around. You guys got a Waffle House. That's pretty chill. The point being is that there's a lot of stupid illegal things, including the topic of today's video, because we're gonna be watching some terrible, illegal, bootleg video game reviews from Russia. Now, I know it sounds stupid. I mean, how can a game review be illegal? Those dorks over at IGN somehow have jobs. Clearly anything goes in the world. Well, in time, all the pieces will start to fall into place. Now, these game reviews are no ordinary game reviews from the 90s. Oh no, they were actually meant to promote and shed some light on the Dendy video game console. Now, unless you're a silly Russian child who grew up in the 90s, odds are you have no idea what this goofy video game console is. Well, to not sugarcoat anything, because why would I do that? This thing is literally just an NES. Like, straight up. All the hardware and insides are that of an NES. The Russians just kinda barely changed its design, threw on a Dendy sticker, and made this elephant its mascot. And just like that, a video game console was born. I mean, who can I even blame for this? These things were assembled in Taiwan. The stupid Super Marx Brothers or whoever sold this couldn't even bother to make it locally. That's messed up, man. Now, I don't want to go into this super long history of this console. That's not my job, and I know I'm going to leave out a ton of stuff because I'm stupid and stuff. Who knows, maybe that handsome-ass gaming historian will cover it one day. The only other thing I'll mention is that this console was created because the NES was never sold in Russia, because in 1991, Russia was still under the USSR rule. Yeah, that funny meme song that actually caused millions of people to suffer. Russia was still under that in the 90s. Really? Damn, I really did not pay attention in school. The Dendy was released in Russia on December 17th, 1992, and the USSR came to an end on December 25th, 1991. So I guess to celebrate, the Russians decided that what the country really needed in this time of rebuilding was some janky NES. Regardless of its history, it's here. Here is in the 90s, not here now, present day. Ain't nobody want this trash. And on September 17th, 1994, Dendy, the new reality, would hit your TVs. The show went on for 2 years, having a total of 63 episodes. What? Dog, Rocko's Modern Life only had 52 episodes. What's up with the world? The show was hosted by one Sergei Supanev. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, I can barely pronounce words in English. Sergei was apparently a pretty big deal. He was an award-winning director and children's TV show host. Damn. Here's him saying vodka bad, Super Nintendo good.
Vodka плохо. Super Nintendo хорошо.
Now, despite there being 63 episodes of this show, I mainly wanted to check out the more unique episodes. Episodes where they review and talk about bootleg games. Like Somari. You see what I mean when I say that these games are illegal? Like, you're not supposed to have this game, homie. If Shigeru Miyamoto sees you with that thing, he's fighting you on sight. It's like if I rob a bank and then make a video showing off all the money I stole. Like, isn't that video now technically evidence? It's not supposed to be seen by the public? I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. Better call Saul. So, whatever, I'm calling these game reviews illegal. Sue me. Alright, now before we start the show, what does every good TV show need? That's right, a catchy-ass intro, like... Okay, stop playing around. What does the Dendy TV show have to grab our attention at home? Now, of course, the show is in Russian, so I'll mostly be narrating it so you don't have to read the subtitles. And lastly, the quality. Yeah, the video quality is absolute dog dookie. It was the 90s, and I'm sure this random TV show about game reviews wasn't a top priority for anyone to try and record and preserve for the future. So, alright, enough jibber jabber. Let's check out Episode 1, Somari. The episode starts off with him saying, if you're gonna play this game for 3, 4, or 5 hours, your parents will probably ask, what's the point of all that button mashing? What's the aim of the game? What's the point? Okay, first of all, ain't nobody playing Somari for more than 5 minutes, let alone 5 hours. He then goes on to say, you should answer like this, Mom, the aim of the game is to beat it till the end. Like, yeah. And I don't think your mom's really gonna give a shit if she's already hounding you about this video game stuff. What you should say is, Mom, what's the point of all this communism shit we went through, huh? That'll shut her up. Sergey then tells us that if we happen to come across a little bit of money in the post-USSR Russia, that we shouldn't waste it on gum or candy, that'll ruin our teeth. But instead, this little cartridge, that'll definitely ruin your brain.
Это вообще очень таинственный картридж. Дело в том, что называется он Somari.
He immediately starts off by mocking Sega Genesis owners, saying that they paid for Sonic the Hedgehog, while Dendy owners pretty much got Somari for free. Which is kinda neat, I guess. Somari for Dendy is not probably the same what Sonic for Sega is. Yeah, bro, the difference is that it's illegal! And trash, but that's subjective. He's like, oh, if we wanted to list off the differences between Sonic and Somari, we'd be here all day. Yeah, that's the first thing we can agree on. He then talks about the stages and whatnot. It's nothing too interesting. But oh my god, my favorite quote is coming up. And how do the developers of the computer games agree with each other? How do they divide the copyrights and the money they gain from the games? I don't know that. And then he follows that up with, but to tell you the truth, I don't really care about that. This man is a hardcore gangster. He goes on TV, talks about some illegal games, and says, I don't really care what the hell happens, just pay me. The next episode is about Master Fighter 2. It begins with Sergey reading a fake letter from a fan about how much they love the Dendy. This shit is so fake, bro. The fan says, I frequently look for the new cartridges by visiting all the brand stores. What kid talks like this? We also learned that this show was released every Thursday and Saturday. Well, damn. The review isn't anything too crazy. The game itself is just an NES demake of Street Fighter 2 that wasn't too terrible. It's hard to tell if Sergey actually played these games and is giving his actual thoughts, or if some random corporate entity wrote up his script. Like, the way he words things sounds really unnatural and forced. Those fights take place in various places of the world, where all the contestants are to test their might. Whatever. Let's check out another episode. Okay, in this episode, Sergey is reviewing Mario 16. His silly ass even says something like, now let's check out the new 16th part of the Fat Italian Plumber's Adventure.
Старый добрый Марио. Усатый знойный итальянский мужчина средних лет и упитанности.
The review itself is, once again, fairly harmless in a vacuum. But Sergey once again decides to unintentionally roast people. There is a whole army of Mario fans, those who will even reject a drink at a party just for having a chance to ride this guy at high seas. But what are you talking about? Drinking at a party? The target audience for these games are like 6-year-olds. Now, as you may or may not know, Mario 16 is a bootleg of Joe and Mac on the NES. Well, Sergey actually did a review of Joe and Mac in a later episode, and let's see how that goes. He starts off by saying, the hard-working Chinese that brought this cartridge to us, they became a little smarter? Sergey, what the fuck does that mean? Actually, the Chinese are already the nation of wisdom. Maybe they are even wiser than the Japanese. What is happening? These are some weird-ass tangents to go off on. Now, Sergey seems to be confused with this game, because he's definitely seen it before. So, he comes to the conclusion that, obviously, Joe and Mac is a ripoff of the super original, classic, and beloved Mario 16. Even saying that Joe and Mac To it to feel that comes with it. Very unofficial and I'm sure very illegal
Mostly for spreading all these sayings, pretty much. I don't even want to say them. It's just like, oh, it drives me crazy. Like lulls. It just, and then there's like fap, 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 and all these really words.
What do you fap to?
Just the classic, chick getting, yeah.
Would you do Miss One Up?
Well, I'd the mushroom bitch. Yeah.
How do you feel about the parody videos?
You know what? Honestly, I love all the parodies that are made of me. I find them absolutely hilarious. The sad part is because they're right.
Here's a clip.
Economy is an awesome game. It promises to bring our economy back. Why is that Arabian man bothering the wall? Why is the guy in the turban fucking the wall? Why is the guy in the turban fucking the stones inside the wall like he likes to scrape his... There's a... here.
You re-edit a lot. Are you also inspired by George Lucas?
I'm still pretty new. I want to, fix all the mistakes now. So if by any chance I start getting, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 views on my videos, then I'll have a lot less mistakes.
Tell me about your re-edit of the review for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I was criticizing Rufus. I was like, who's Rufus? What kind of name is Rufus? Is he a f***ing dog? And I criticized I criticized everything about everything, and then I got all these comments. And they're talking about a movie. They're like, oh, you obviously haven't seen the movie. And I was like, movie? What is he talking about? I never watched the movie. So when I reviewed it, I had no idea what I was talking about. Like, everything that could go wrong in, a satirical video, I'll just call them reviews, just for now. No, they're not really. Everything that could go wrong in, a review went wrong there.
So they're not reviews? What are they?
And my videos are... They're pretty much for all those that just had to suffer so much when their favorite, classic stars just, started to suck. And I haven't seen any videos, really, that, rip apart, Conker's Bad Fur Day and, the newer Star Fox games. And I see all these comments of, others that are just annoyed. So I figured, you know what? Maybe I'll rip these games to shreds.
What games do you like?
The only time I actually play video games now is when I'm recording the game footage to make, the videos. Pretty much, I barely ever play games just for fun anymore. There's honestly no time anymore.
Anything you'd like to say to your critics?
I think you critics, you could do a little bit of a better job. I appreciate what you're doing and all that. A lot of what you guys are saying are actually a lot of helpful, but you gotta try to be a little bit more professional and maybe go into a little bit more depth and kind of find some better criticisms, in my honest opinion, really. So, yeah.
Do you see fame and fortune in your future?
Any game reviewer might suddenly, escalate over another, you never know, right? In my opinion, anything can happen. After Angry Video Game Nerd retires or something like that.
Does it bother you that I'm gonna have to edit this in a way that might make you look bad?
Hey, even bad publicity is good publicity.
And you know what ended up getting a lot of publicity? His relationship with a girl named Alana, whom he met on the dating website Tag. Because apparently a troll managed to find her on Tag, slid in her DMs, scheduled a hookup with her, and then sent the screenshots to Alex. Soon after, the entire Game Dude catalog was deleted from the Alexander4488 channel, and were replaced with lip sync videos dedicated to Alana. To which she responded with, yeah, tell him to leave me alone or I'm calling the police. As a matter of fact, the police were called. The reports and documents be readily available online, as Alexander made them public. He would try to resolve things with Alana, but remember, obsession the name of the game with this dude. To no one's surprise but his own, Alex learned the hard way that spam calling, spam emailing, patrolling the neighborhood, and hiding in someone's bushes waiting for a chance to talk to them like this some kind of Nickelodeon cartoon ain't exactly how someone win they ex back. And when you charged with stalking and harassment and got a court date coming up, the last thing you want to do be harassing the police. So Alexander went around harassing the police.
Free to take all you want. How long is it going to go? Just curious. Come here. You little nugget. Come on. So?
Then came the Alex's court hearing. It could have gone better, but if we keeping it a buck, it could have gone worse. It said Alana bursted into tears, ran out the room, and the case was dismissed. But by then, our game dude was way too far gone. Convinced the jerk-ops were on his ass and fearing further prosecution, he left Vancouver and voyaged down to Mexico and eventually Hong Kong. He was never heard from on the online space ever again, but not before dropping 3 lengthy manifestos, made in an attempt to explain his side of the story and possibly clear his name. But all it really accomplished was convince people he was off the deep end, cause them John's wild. I'm gonna be covering these from least unhinged to most batshit, so naturally we finna start with the 2-hour-long video where Alex be playing with dinosaur toys in his backyard, recreating the time he got kicked out of nightclub for harassing his ex. You know, just to ease y'all into it.
This is me. That's Lena. I'm grinding this girl at a club. By major fluke, there's Alana. She says, hey. And then I say, whoa, hey. So I'm like, whoa, sorry, baby. You and I, let us dance. And danced we did. Yes, sirree. And then I thought she was being shy. Go away, wasp. She said, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends now. I say, okay. Promise to come back for more dancing later? Yeah, I promise. And I'm like, huh. Well, she promised to continue dancing with me later. Okay. Hey baby, what's up? Yeah. So next thing you know, I see her with some random guy. And I'm like, well, it is later now. She promised to dance with me later. Later is now. Bye-bye. Oh. So, and then I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yes, we are in an open relationship, but ditching me, your lover of 4 years and best friend, to, flirt with random... that's insulting. I mean, yeah, we are in an open relationship, but we are not in an open best friendship. So, you know, we were like, as long as we love each other the most, we can do whatever. So, yeah, open relationship, that's still insulting. We were dancing. It was like our second dance ever. Ditches me to flirt with some random guy. His arm is around her shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, that's so uncool. So I'm like, I know, I'll show him that she's taken. Hey, later is now. Let's, go dance some more. And then I was showing intimacy. showing the guy that she's taken. Go away, she's mine. Shoo fly, shoo. And you can steal girls away from guys at clubs as long as they allow you to. And I thought she would. I thought she would understand. I was drunk. It was noisy. Giant misunderstanding. It is now raining. Very annoying. So, I thought, so there I am, showing intimacy, and then he would be like, whoa, she is taken. Okay, whoops. Or she could have been like, well, I'm gonna go now, bye, and then, we frolic away and do some more dirty dancing. Yep. But that's not what happened. No. I'm like, hey, let's, come on. And I'm, subtly nudging her a little bit, kind of. Like, come on, let's go and, come on, dance some more. And just showing intimacy for the guy to go away. And then, subtly kind of moving, or trying, just guiding her, trying to guide her away very subtly. I thought she would listen. I thought she was being shy. Gotta motivate her to get her out of her shell. Did she say go away? Did she indicate, did she just, no, she stood there and did nothing. She did not tell me to go away. She did not push me to go away. She did not say no. She said nothing. She just stood there. I was so confused. Why are you not moving? Yeah. Now, if she did say no, or if she did say anything, I heard nothing. It was noisy. I was drunk. I was confused. This all happened in about 5 seconds. Yeah. I'm like, come on, let's go dance some more. Get away from that random guy. That's insulting. Next thing you know, the bouncers come, Yo. You gotta get out of here. Yep. Time for you to go, buddy. And I'm like, and then I got like thrown on the ground and they were like choking me. They were just watching, entertained. Her and this random stranger. Yeah, not cool. So, I went back insane. Taxi to her house. Climbed over her gate.
Yo, the new Primal Rage lore lit. Like, what is this, bruh? Please return to intimate dance session. I require you to initiate twerking.exe. I also have a sneaking suspicion he's leaving out very crucial details, considering the bouncers just instant transmissioned out of nowhere like they's Goku or something to throw him out the establishment. It's also worth noting they was in an open relationship, which they did a pretty bad job pre-establishing boundaries. Or if they had, he just blatantly moved the goalpost. But who cares about that? Let's move on to his second manifesto, the blog. Now, this thing be the length of a novel. Pause. It also contained a lot of paperwork relating to the case, which I probably can't show, so I'ma just go ahead and talk about my favorite parts. Them's being the illustrations he made using Pac-Man sprites and 3D landscapes made in Blender or something to prove he was not stalking Alana. He was in fact just crossing property lines directly towards her as she was leaving her building, and the transparent bushes just so happened to be there. Please, God, tell me he brought these to court, if only to show his lawyer. That would have been amazing. And then we got the Game Dude Beach episode finale. Same spiels as before, except this time he's a lot more unhinged and drunk, screaming at birds and getting frustrated whenever people walk in his shot, like he's some wannabe fitness influencer on TikTok about to get scolded by Joey Swole.
I have no f***ing words. No words. Like, she knows that she can't talk her way out of it. I know. Yeah, just, over-exaggerate the mistakes I made, the little ones. I mean, yeah, okay. Like, and then I'm believing I'm like the worst person ever. Feel so bad, and I'm like, wait a minute, she did the same worse. Why am I feeling so bad? Apologizing for everything, doing the right thing, even though she never apologized, you know? Can't apologize, can't forgive. Explaining, it's nothing. It's in there. I'm stuck in her area. I'm done with this world. I'm done. I'm done. I mean, I know we're in an open relationship, but that's insulting. You shut up. I don't give a f***. She can f*** other guys away from me. I hope you're happy, okay? She took advantage of my trust, total betrayal. You guys, shut her! And the fact that, like, a human so heartless as her exists on this planet makes me sick. No compassion. It's like you f***ing slap a monkey on its face and then the monkey slaps you back. And then you hate that monkey. Oh, the monkey slapped me. Get away from me. I wonder why the monkey slapped you. It's less frustrating trying to convince this rock. Look, I'm a reflection of what you did to me. And yeah, you know, I sent that conversation to her mom, and my family. I never want to see him again either, especially my parents circumcising me. No. F*** you. That was mine. F*** you. It's there for a reason. Ask me when I'm an adult, and you know what I would say? Tell that doctor to go, that butcher to go f*** himself.
Yo, TMI! Alright, I get how this be a hot button issue in some corners of the world. Like, for example, if you ever look into Mewtwo King, pro Smash player who apparently had a botched procedure, it can get pretty tragic. But why is you just shouting this out to the world for everyone to hear? Not just on a public beach, but on the internet where it can and has been archived. And so passionately, may I add. Like, the way he say, "That was mine," just kills me. Like, what, dude? Did you have big plans? Was you planning to start a band with it? This apparently was a big point of contention for Alex, because people managed to spot him on some anti-circumcision forums looking to purchase something called a TLC Tugger. No. Originally posted by Alexander4488, May 27th, 2010. I don't have a retainer, but I suppose there's no harm in tugging 24/7. Guess I could just use the TLC Tugger without a strap or MRS for less tension here and there. Is it safe to use the MRS remover stuff on the TLC Tugger to remove? No. The sticky goo. I'm hearing that in his voice. The sticky goo. What the heck, Tugger designers? When I apply the TLC Tugger, does there need to be like a millimeter of inner skin beneath the outer coat to know that I am stretching it? Otherwise, I assume the TLC Tugger would only be stretching the shaft skin, since all the inner skin would be inside the cone. What? How this thing even work? No! Would stretching it slowly reduce the suture hole? How would a plastic surgeon fix them? And wouldn't that be really expensive? There's only like 3 together and they're not that big. I started tugging with the strap at half its maximum length, causing it way too much tension. After taking off the TLC tugger, a liquid bubble, 2 red dots, and a small red line formed. What are they and why did they form? What a minor inconvenience, not even worth mentioning. Oh my god, that nasty. Sorry, Alex, but I suspect you got duped, scammed, bamboozled, you scrub. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is someone who can get no tugs from me. And I think we'll leave it at that. There's not much else to say since, you know, nobody know where he at now. So I'm gonna leave y'all with an excerpt from Mr. Medeker.
What we do know for certain is this: that when you put crazy up on the internet, it is forever there. That no matter which way the court case ended up breaking, no matter what the relationship with Alana looks like in this day and age, the record of your nutty ass behavior will forever be enshrined for anybody that cares to look it up. You could be the most innocent person in the world, but you still wrote a novel-length manifesto and filmed yourself playing with dinosaur toys, reenacting your breakup with the girl that doesn't want to talk to you anymore. But I suppose the upside is, even though the Game Dude's YouTube video reviews may have been complete and utter shit, his personal life sure is entertaining.
And with that, I hope y'all have a splendid day. Like, comment, subscribe, check out Eatin' Pasta in Yo Hood on Spotify. We got all types of good content on this channel. This be Club Doom signing out. Sweet nectar.